Hi, I'm Debbie Wood, and I'm from Kissimmee, Florida. And in this family, I'm the Nana. And that means that Nana has the best food in town. Well, at least in the family. Everybody thinks their Nana's recipes are good, and my grandchildren would tell you, I have too. And what I'm going to do for you today is something I like to make for my little grandboys for lunch. Now, they aren't real big spinach eaters, and I like to keep things for Nanas fun, healthy, and most of all comforting. And so I make them spinach pie pizza. If it ends in pizza, it must be good. So what we're going to do is, we're going to start with our pan, and I'm going to put about ½ cup of olive oil. Now what I'm going to do first is, I'm going to take these onions, this is about a medium onion, I've chopped it up small, and I'm going to put it in the pan and start to cook it until they become translucent, until they start to brown. As they're cooking, I'm going to tell you about the crust. Now, the crust is pre-cooked a little bit. You make your favorite pie crust, not pizza crust, pie crust, because we're making spinach pie, only it's like a pizza. So you make your favorite crust up, and you cook it in the oven about 10 or 15 minutes till it just barely starts to brown. That keeps it sort of crispy, and so you aren't going to get a soggy crust. So as your onions start to brown and start to get translucent, you stir them and keeping them covered with the olive oil. I'm going to add to it about a ¼ teaspoon of pepper. I like ground pepper. And they have them so convenient these days where the pepper and the grinder are all right together. It's so neat. I'm going to add to that about 1 1/4 teaspoons of salt. And I'm going to keep stirring. Now the olive oil is starting to work on the onions, making them a little browned, a little translucent. And as they start to get brown, I'm going to keep stirring the salt and the pepper in with them. We're going to add a little bit of garlic. For flavor. Boy, there's a lot of aroma that comes from this. Onions, garlic. Now as they start to brown and start to become translucent, I keep them in the center of the pan so they all evenly brown. I'm going to add flour. Now adding flour to a fry pan when you have oil in it or any kind of grease type thing is a roux. So that's going to make us a creamy base to our creamed spinach we're going to put on our spinach pie. Dump in the flour and mix it around thoroughly. Starts to absorb that oil, starts to take it up, and starts to make this thick sort of brownish roux paste. Now after you mix it in really well with the oil and with the onions, it starts to get a paste going. You've got to take about 2½ cups of milk. Now milk, when it's added slowly to flour in a roux in a pan, will start to thicken. So that's what we want. It's a really creamy thickness, a creamy concoction of onion and a creamy white base. You slowly add it, and it even helps if you whisk it as you go along. Now bit by bit I'm adding the milk to thicken it and to make it kind of a thick sauce. This is all starting to thicken up because that's what roux do. Sort of like a gravy effect. I'm going to keep stirring that as it thickens. We want it to be a nice, thick, creamy base because we're going to put on our crust this thick, creamy base. Now, here we go. My favorite. Nanas everywhere are using cream cheese, because I'll tell you, there's a thing about cream cheese. It adds a little bit more healthy product to your meals, makes them creamy, makes them just cozy and warm. Here we go, we're starting to really thicken up now. And I'm going to add the cream cheese to my roux. It's going to make it just even more creamy and give it that cream cheese taste. This is about half a bar, about 4 ounces, half a container of cream cheese. You could double this recipe and make a nice big spinach pie pizza for a party or a whole family group, not just lunch for the grand boys. You can double the recipe and put in a whole bar, make it nice and creamy. You could go as large as you can think. Just use your own pie crust, whatever your favorite pie crust is. Or you can take a frozen pie crust or whatever kind of pie crust you usually like to use. Most nanas have their own pie crust recipe. I know I have mine. And use that to put this in. Now we're getting really, really nice and thick. It's getting to be a nice and thick consistency. And that's what we want. You could smell the onions, you could smell the garlic. And what I'm going to add to it now is the spinach. Now this is a package, a 10-ounce package of frozen spinach. I let it defrost, didn't cook it, just defrost it. And you squeeze it really well to get all the water out of it so it's nice and dry. So you make it dry. And you add your spinach to the cream mixture. And stir it all together. Now this is going to make the filling for your pie, or the topping for your pizza, so to speak. Now earlier I took Italian sausage. I actually got turkey type of Italian sausage, and I pre-cooked that and browned it. And this is the Italian sausage, and we're going to use that on top of our pizza as well. You can use Italian sausage. It's mild, spicy if you should want something like that, or turkey like I went for, because I want it fun, I want it healthy, and I want it comforting, because that's Nana food. Now, we've got our cream sauce. I'm going to take our crust and we're going to put the cream sauce on the crust as a filling. You can see how nice and creamy that is, and how that cream cheese is worked into that cream spinach. Why, you can get even a finicky 2-year-old to eat spinach when it's this way. He loves it. And then you add it all the way across, nice and thick, and it stays nice and thick and nice and tall on your crust. Go all the way to the edge. When you make your crust, make sure you pinch the edges up a little bit so you got a little bit of an edge to hold your spinach in. And then you put your spinach all the way around in the pizza. And put it on there in big mounds, because it will, when it cools, then it'll stay nice and firm for you. And then top your pizza. And this is the sausage. I like to put it around the edges first. Oh, that smells so good. That sausage with the garlic and the onions and the creamed spinach, that cream cheesy kind of taste. Go all the way around with that. And we're going to put on top, I've got about 2 cups of mozzarella. You can put your topping on top of the mozzarella. You can put the mozzarella on top of your topping. That's either here or there with pizza. Everybody knows that. And put a good amount of pizza cheese on top. And of course, everything's got to be cute. So we'll add a little bit, another heart of the spinach on top. Just to remind them that Nana loves them. That's that comfort part. a little heart there that says Nana loves you. And there we go.